Hello, I'm Kwak Nguyen. I'm going to be talking about stringing a racket using a Klippermate drop weight. So first you're going to need to measure 36 feet of string. It's 20 feet for the mains and then 16 for the crosses. And then find the halfway point for your mains, which is 10 feet, and make a mark. And we'll be using that mark a little later on. Cut the ends of your string at an angle so it looks like this and it has a pointy end. That will help. Then count how many holes you have in the throat area. If you have 6, then that means that the center loop is in the throat. If you have 8 holes, then that means the center loop is on the top of the racket. We start stringing with the center loop, so it's important to identify this. Real quickly, let's look at why this would be. So let's say that we put our loop here, a little off center, and so that first main would be going in up direction, and then it would loop up on top and then come down, and then it would loop again, but there wouldn't be a hole for that next loop. This is why it's important whenever we have 6 holes, the center loop is on the center on the bottom. When we have 8 holes, the center loop has to be on the top of the racket. Now when you go to mount the racket, of course you don't want to block any of those holes, so be careful when you're doing this when you mount your racket. So with my racket mounted, and since I have 6 holes, I know my center loop is in the middle here, on the bottom. I line it up so my 10 feet mark is right there. It's going to be right in the middle. This is how the top of the racket looks. So go ahead and loop the end of the string through, pull it through, and then it should look like this. Go ahead and apply the clamp to those 2 strings, and then notice the level of where I'm clamping the string at. You don't want to clamp too low or too high. Just right about that area. Set the tension you want to string at. Here I am stringing at 58 pounds. Extend the loop so you have a little bit more string, and then bring the string under the throat and put it on the clamp. Let the arm fall down to the right, and this is what applies the tension. So this is the clamp area, and the purple is kind of how your string should look. That arm that is applying the tension should be level with the ground. While the arm is still holding tension on that string, go and insert your starter pin. Then clamp that string that is holding tension to the starter pin. You can bring the arm back up, and then now it is time to tension this string. Swing the racket around, so now this is the head or the top of the racket, and then the string is put through to the clamp. Apply your tension and let that arm be level with the ground. Release your clamp from the starter pin, from what you just did earlier, and then apply that same clamp onto this new string that's holding tension right now. This is the only time in the stringing process that both clamps are right next to each other. Bring up the arm to release the tension, and then go ahead and guide the next loop or the end of the string through, pull it through, and that's going to need tension next. We flip the racket around to the throat area and apply tension to that string by clamping it and letting that arm get level. Release this clamp and then apply it to the string that's holding tension. Now that the clamp is holding the tension, you can let the arm back up, and then we repeat the same process for all of your mains. Advance the next string, pull it through, apply tension, let the arm level, take off your clamp, put your clamp in the new place, let the arm back up, and repeat the process. Be careful towards the end of your mains. You have to skip the holes that are meant for your crosses. After I finish stringing the first half of my mains, all I do is clamp it, and then take out the starter pin and finish off the second half of my mains. When you're finished with all of your mains, it's time to tie the knot. And to tie the knot, you have to increase the tension 5 to 7 pounds. I like to use a Wilson Pro knot, and to tie this knot, you have to pull it away from you, arc it towards you, pull it away, arc it towards. Then I cut off all the remaining string, and this is how it looks. And then don't forget to reset your weight back to what you're stringing at. Now that it's time to string the crosses, go ahead and weave it over and under, and then pull the string through, then weave it back the other way, pull it through, and then it's time to apply tension. But before we do that, let's make sure that you weaved correctly. So take a look at any of your mains And if this cross here went over, make sure that the next cross goes under that main. Then apply tension to those crosses, and notice my clamp that's on the last main there. I would take that clamp out and then advance it to clamp my crosses now. As that clamp is holding the tension, we repeat the same process we know of tensioning these strings. Bring the arm back up, advance the string, and then weave it over and under, making sure to alternate from your last weave. Then go ahead and apply tension and let the arm get level. Release your clamp, apply the clamp to the new string that's being tensioned, and then let the arm back up. Eventually you'll get to your last cross, as I did here. And then of course it's time to tie the knot. I have to increase my weight from 5 to 7 pounds again. And then I'm doing the Wilson Pro knot where I pull away from me, arc it, pull away, arc. And then of course I cut off the remaining string and I'm done. Good luck and let me know if you have any questions.